Helldivers 2 just had one of its biggest patches yet. It's filled to the brim with balance changes, performance increases, and complete reworks to many enemies within the game. Some good, some bad. My name is Red Monster Thing, but you can call me Red. Now that we've introduced ourselves, let us get into why this patch is actually better than you think. Or is it? Now, starting off with the feedback part of this video, as much as I wish this patch was all sunshine and rainbows, it really isn't. We have to get through the storm first. First, I want to say I'm not a balance guy, especially when it comes to Helldivers 2. I used to try and make videos about the game balance and what my opinions were on certain weapons, but some of you know that those were more of copycat videos and they weren't really my own opinions. All jokes aside, I need to be completely honest. Nerfs don't really bother me as long as the core functions of the game or weapons feel the same, and only if the nerfs were placed there for the right reasons. For example, the ultimatum nerf, being unable to destroy jammers and detector towers specifically. I quite enjoyed that nerf, since in my opinion, it's funner to play the objective that makes the game more challenging. Jammers are awesome since they raise the difficulty in a unique way by temporarily removing your stratagems. You can't just throw down an orbital and wait for your destroyer to solve your problems for you. The ultimatum was so power crept that you didn't even need to walk into these forts, unlike what you have to do with the Hellbomb backpack. It honestly made stratagems like the orbital precision strike obsolete. And while I could just pick a weaker sidearm, you have to understand that I'm only one of 4 people in my squad. With 3 other people, especially against bots of D10, during this period, I only ever saw people take the ultimatum. I actually felt robbed of my fun because the only few interesting and challenging side objectives could be trivialized by my teammates, even if I chose something different. There's this point in the game where other people's gear and stratagems actually make it less fun by making the game too easy. And I think the majority of the community echoed this idea as a whole. Some nerfs are okay, especially if the nerf promotes more fun and engaging gameplay. In my opinion, as long as nerfs do that, they should be incentivized. And if this was the intent behind some of the nerfs we got in 4.1.0, I would honestly be fine. But the problem I'm having with this patch is that these nerfs weren't broadcasted or explained in any real capacity. I felt like Arrowhead hid this under the rug because they were worried about community backlash. So instead, it felt like they just tried to be sneaky, and ironically, the community found out and made this whole situation worse. Seriously, we need more comms and a better explanation for some of these changes. Only a handful of enemies were effectively buffed, and both fire and the new light pen changes do in fact feel really good, except against those enemies. To be real, many of these nerfs are slight and still barely noticeable, but it's the fact they weren't communicated is what bothers me. I sometimes feel like fire is a bit overtuned, though I never would say it's OP. I just don't like dot damage in general. I find it boring to wait an eternity for the enemy I shot last year to die. Some of these new changes make fire take longer to kill an enemy. Like, Sweet Liberty, I was already bored by dot damage, and now you made it more boring? The changes made to fire really affected the Coyote the most, since you can still proc fire, but now it's 2 bullets instead of 1. But you would still barely notice this change, to be completely honest. Now, there are already a bunch of other creators making noise about the balance for Helldivers, so I'm just gonna let them take the lead. Really, I'm here to talk about the positive stuff about this patch. Now, getting into the good news. My computer is no longer having issues when it comes to freezes or hard locks. I was mainly having freezes and low frame rates before, but now my frames are smoother and I haven't noticed any freezes whatsoever. However, I have been experiencing more crashes lately as the host. I can't speak for everyone's performance, but the game is working better for me overall aside from the crashes. Even the drop sequence is smoother for me. Now, I am lucky enough that I didn't have the whole Windows update issue, and I don't have the most up-to-date hardware, which I heard some of the more recent hardware is causing some of the hard locks. I know other games like Jump Space were experiencing similar issues, but my PC is doing fine, so that's good news. Now, what do I think about the actual patch? First of all, I really like this patch. The nerfs to War Striders, bunker turrets, and flesh mobs are awesome. I can finally be vindicated from making that stupid War Strider video. I learned that even the variable can now one-shot flesh mobs at close range, which is amazing. Now my beloved is more beloved. Well, except she didn't get a durability buff like everyone else. Come on, Arrowhead. You're making me and my gun wife feel a bit left out here. I also freaking love the AMR buff. This thing has felt awesome against automatons, the Illuminate, and surprisingly the bugs. It feels useful on all fronts. The Leviathan lasers are epic. I just wish Leviathans weren't a bunch of chickens and actually tried to fight you instead of fleeing the map. Shipmaster, why is there a chicken on my destroyer? I really enjoy most of the buffed weapons. I already like the ARs, but now I really like them. I was also working on a Defender video in the background. Seeing it get a massive buff at close range was really cool. I haven't tried the Knight yet, but I heard it's really good now. I played against the bots a ton using the Defender. I used angled foregrip to reduce the sway and the muzzle brake to make its recoil vertical only. Shout out to Thick Valet for showing me these modification settings on stream. It made the Coyote feel way better to me, and I've started to use this setup with other guns. I would say most SMGs feel great now, except maybe the Pummeler, but the Reprimand got gutted. Seriously, make this thing one-shot Devastators again. I tried the autocannon, and it feels awesome against the Bug Dragon in flak mode. It kills flesh mobs now extremely easily. In fact, I think it may eventually take the Wasp's place as the Illuminate meta soon. Though, that is just my opinion. The AMR is also really good on the Illuminate. Honestly, the reason why I like this patch so much is because a lot of the balance changes make me want to try more weapons. I never really use the Punisher Plasma, so maybe I'll give it a go also. Despite the buffs to a handful of enemies, overall, this patch is a buff patch. And I would call some of the SMG changes more of a rework and not inherently a nerf. But Arrowhead, don't stop now. Performance issues are not completely resolved. In fact, I am crashing more in this patch than last patch. Not ideal, but at least I'm not freezing or hardlocking. I've still heard reports of many performance issues. Hopefully, we see more buffs soon. I assume things like marksman rifles are next. To be honest, Diligence is feeling a bit weak now, especially against bugs. It wasn't ideal to take against bugs anyway, thanks to its short ammo supply, but now it really kind of sucks. Also, we can't forget the sterilizer, you piece of crap. And I also don't think the durable health increase on certain enemies was liked by anyone. So I assume we will be seeing some of these changes reverted if we give Arrowhead enough feedback. Really, at least in my opinion, a video game dies the moment we as a community stop giving our feedback. And Arrowhead, don't be a chicken. Make sure next patch, you talk about everything you changed. Okay, Shipmaster, where is that flamethrower? I need to have a barbecue right now. Wait, it has 5 canisters now? Why did nobody tell me? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. It helps a ton, and it means a lot.